Awesome. Kia ora, everyone. So lovely to be here today. I'm so excited to share all about TikTok. TikTok is my guilty pleasure at the moment. I'm obsessed with TikTok. So it's so cool that I get to share with you guys what I've been learning, what I've been experimenting with, and how you can use TikTok in your own businesses. So if you don't know me, I'm Jodine. I'm also known as Social Smarty. So I help business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals learn how to use social media in an effective way. So I'm not a big fan of letting it take over your life. So I'm really big on different frameworks and strategies so that you can have some good balance between the positive stuff with social media and connecting with people and not spending too much time on it. So today we're talking all things TikTok. So hopefully you've got your phones handy, because what we'll do what we'll do is we'll dive in and do some practical stuff soon. So if you haven't yet installed TikTok on your phone, now's the time to do it. Get the app downloading so that you can dive in. And together we're going to run through how to make sure your account's set up and dive in and make your first TikTok if you're yet to make one. Before we do that though, I'm just going to cover off some quick, I call them kind of fundamentals, because TikTok's a little bit different than other social media channels. So I want to have a bit of a chat around TikTok and give you a bit more of an understanding on what the platform's all about. So let's dive on in. The first thing I thought we would cover off, if I can get my slides to work, is the numbers. I get asked so often, are people really using TikTok that are over 18? Isn't it just a kids platform for dancing and lip syncing and having fun? But if we have a look at the numbers, we've got 1.36 billion users globally. And the cool thing about TikTok is that it has grown faster than Facebook and Instagram. So Facebook and TikTok reached 1 billion users faster than Facebook and Instagram. So Mark Zuckerberg, who owns both those platforms, is quaking in his boots. You can see he's sort of adopting a lot of the TikTok features on his own platform. So we're in an interesting time at the moment. In terms of Kiwis, so I know that you guys are Kiwis on the call with me today. So we've got about 1.4 million Kiwis that are using the platform. Now, TikTok's not super transparent with their data. So what I did last night is I jumped on and I tried to pull some information out of TikTok itself to get you the most up-to-date numbers on who's using the platform. And I couldn't, which is really frustrating. But I think, if we look at our total population and we at least get an idea of how many Kiwis are using it, I think it's time for us to jump on TikTok and have a go. What I could do, though, is get a bit of a breakdown for you in terms of globally. So this is not New Zealand specific, this is looking globally. And you can see, yes, of course, it is a younger demographic that's on there. So if your target audience is up in the 55 plus, we're not going to have a huge number of users in that demographic there yet. It's growing all the time. So now's a great time to jump on board, get going with TikTok, and then you're ahead of the trend and ahead of your competition. Right, now we're going to jump into some fundamentals of TikTok really quickly. So the first one I want to have a chat about is to forget about perfection. So when we create content for, say, Instagram or even for Facebook, we want to put our best foot forward. We want to look professional. We want to create, really professional looking content. Forget about that for TikTok. If you are familiar with creating stories like Instagram stories or Facebook stories, that is what TikTok is like. So it's not the place for, really highly produced video or lots and lots of editing and things like that. It's more about connection. So it's about jumping on, sharing content that's a little bit sort of off the cuff, as you would with an Instagram or a Facebook story, that type of content that's behind the scenes, connecting with your audience. So that's the first thing I want you to understand, a little bit different there. The next thing is storytelling rules. Now, when we connect with someone on TikTok, we have a really short window of opportunity to get them to stop scrolling and focus on our content. So if we can hook them in, with a juicy hook at the start of our video, if we can tell them a really good story that keeps them engaged, we're going to have a much better time than if we use some of our more traditional social media content that might be, really educational stuff. So if we can tell stories, if we can introduce characters, if we can have a bit of a punchline or make it a little bit juicy, then we're going to have a really good time. Cool. Awesome. So the next thing about TikTok that's maybe a little bit different about other platforms is it is absolutely fine to be inspired by others' content, but we don't want to directly copy them. So over on other platforms, you might face criticism if you copy someone's, content that they've created, but that's kind of what TikTok's built around. So we call them either trends or challenges. So we have an idea that someone sparks or they start off that trend, and then everyone jumps on board and puts their own spin on it. So it's absolutely fine to get inspiration from others, but obviously adding your own twist. We don't want to outright copy someone else's content. Righty ho. The next thing that's really different about TikTok to other platforms is that it is audio driven. So when we are scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, we might have our audio off. We could be sitting at, the doctor's surgery waiting for our appointment, or somewhere where we don't necessarily want the audio on. TikTok doesn't make sense on silent. So we need to make audio a priority. So we need to think about if we're speaking, if it's us speaking to camera, we need to think about having really good quality audio. If we're not going to have any spoken word, that's when we put music in the background. It is very disconcerting to find a TikTok that doesn't have any kind of audio. And usually that's a sign that something has happened to that audio track that they've used. It's been removed from the platform, or there's a copyright issue there. So audio, it's all about audio on TikTok. With that in mind, of course, we want to make sure we're adding captions. So if you do create content when it's you speaking to camera, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, we need to make sure we add those captions. And luckily, TikTok has a built-in caption generation tool. Now, if you have a thick Kiwi accent like I do, sometimes it struggles with some of our words, or if we have any Te Reo Māori words and it's a bit tricky to get that spelling right, we can go in and edit it. But it's really easy to make sure we add our captions to our videos, because even though it is audio driven, there's a whole population out there that we don't want to, we want to be accessible to them as well if they have any issues with hearing. Cool, we're almost there, guys, before we jump in and have a play. Now, don't be afraid of posting too often. We're going to talk a little bit about how the TikTok algorithm works. But when we post over to Facebook and Instagram, we can get into this trap where if we post multiple times a day, we end up just splitting our reach, or the number of people that we reach, across those posts. TikTok is completely different. If you want to post 5 times a day, absolutely go for it. It's not going to impact your reach in the same way it would with other platforms. So you can get that frequency up. If you're looking at me now and going, oh my gosh, 5 times a day is insane, absolutely fine. Once a week, if that's all you can manage, that's fine. But yeah, don't be afraid of just off the cuff, creating some content, having some fun, and posting lots and lots of different things to see what works, see what your audience resonates with. Another thing I would say is do the unexpected. I'm going to show you some examples today of different people using TikTok to connect. And you might have a look and think, have they been hacked, or is that really their official account, or has someone just made, a joke account and used their name? No, it's their real account, but they're doing some really unexpected things. We're going to have a look at the Wellington City Council. We're going to have a look at a Christchurch, I think it's Christchurch Council account, and also a politician in Florida who's doing some really interesting stuff with TikTok. Don't be afraid to play. There are so many different features on TikTok. Today, we're only just going to scratch the surface of having a look at a few of them. But the cool thing about TikTok is everything you do, you can save as a draft. So if you're familiar with creating Instagram Reels, where you save a lot of drafts, it's the same sort of concept. So we can have lots and lots of fun, try heaps of things, be creative, and until you push that very last post button, it doesn't get shared. I have so many drafts sitting in my TikTok account, just different things that I've tried. Sometimes I end up posting them, sometimes I don't. So have a play around and have fun with it. And on that similar vein, just have a go. Honestly, you can't get this stuff wrong. You know your business, you know your messaging, you know your target audience inside and out. So getting on TikTok and having a bit of a go, you're not going to get it wrong, promise. Cool. So let's dive on in, and we're going to have a little bit of a play. I'm just going to stop sharing this screen here. Check, make sure there's nothing in the chat box. Cool. I should say, as we're going, if you do have questions, pop them in the chat box for me. I'll keep an eye out and answer anything as we go. And then at the end, we'll have some time as well. But if there's something that you want to ask me, it's often easier to answer it in sort of the context. So just chuck it in the chat box. I'll keep flicking my eye over and make sure I'm answering your questions. But what we're going to do now is dive into TikTok. I'm going to share my phone screen with you. This one here. Any minute now. Here we go. Cool. So there is a little bit of a lag. There's a little bit of a delay, but it'll all be fine. It'll be good. Cool. So hopefully by now you guys have all downloaded the TikTok app and you've got either an account set up or you're ready to set up your account. So I'm going to dive in and just give you some little tips about how to get your account set up. So if you haven't yet set up your account, you might be looking at a screen that looks something like this. Now, I'm always a big fan of using your email or your phone to sign up for TikTok. We don't really want to be sharing your login details from another app because it's just another vulnerability. So if data gets leaked, there's another way that people can get in. So ideally, we want to sign up using our email or our phone. So once you've got your account, what we do is edit. I'll go into edit profile. So yours might be all empty and you might not know quite what to put in each of these boxes. So I'm going to do a quick sort of run through here. Starting at the top, when we add our photo. Now, if you are wanting to build your personal brand, it's obviously really good to use a photo of yourself. If you're a part of a larger team, of course, you could use a logo in there. Once you have uploaded a photo, then you get the opportunity to change it to a video. So a video is like a little GIF. It'll just play sort of on repeat. There's no audio associated with it, but it's another cool little thing you can add to your profile there. And then we start working our way down. Now, with your name, what we want to think about there is adding in some keywords. So the types of words that someone might use when they're searching for you. So imagine if maybe they don't know your business name or they don't know your name, and instead they are looking for a social media trainer. I could very easily have put in there as the name of my account, Social Smarty. But what I'm doing is I'm relying on people to already know my business name, right? What I want to do is be searchable for all those people who have never heard of Social Smarty before. So instead of using that as my name, I've popped in a sort of search term, and I've thought, someone could be searching for a social media trainer. They might be searching for Jodine. I'm lucky I've got a bit of a unique name, but that's sort of the way that I've structured that account name. Then we move down to our username. This, I want you to keep consistent with your other social media channels. So ideally, we want to have the same username for Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And then that way, when you are, when you're asking people to tag you on social media or find you on social media, maybe you're putting it on signage or you're putting it on, I don't know, the side of your car, you've got one username. So you've got a consistent message, and it doesn't matter where people are looking for you, they're going to find your accounts no matter what platform it's on. And then the next one down here is our link. So you can see your username there forms part of your link. So this link here is what I would put on my website and my email signature, anywhere that I want people to click from to get through to my TikTok account. So if we go and change our username, obviously this link is going to change here. So that tiktok.com/ that's going to change when we change our username. So ideally we want to, set and forget our username so that if we changed it, we're not breaking any links where we've linked to our TikTok account. Then we have pronouns, up to you if you want to fill in that section. But the next thing here is the bio. So when I click through onto my bio, it's 80 characters. It's even shorter than Instagram. Instagram, we struggle with 150 characters. This is even shorter than that. So this is not searchable. So if someone is searching for a social media coach or a social media marketing coach, they're not necessarily going to find my account because this section is not searchable. So this is more about communicating in like a really succinct way what it is that you do. What problem do you solve? Who do you work with? What can people expect from you? That sort of thing. The other thing I've done here is I have finished with my website address. It's not clickable. The annoying thing about TikTok is we can't add in a clickable link until we get to 1,000 followers. So at the moment, I'm relying on my URL, which is quite memorable, quite short, easy to remember. People would have to type it in. I wouldn't put a bit.ly link there or something that's, really confusing and hard to remember. But if you have a nice short URL, then it's a good idea to pop that in there. So let's get out of there. Next thing is the non-profit. So you can align yourself with a charity, and what it does is it adds a link to your profile, and it means that people can go through that link and they can donate or support that charity. Now, I've had a good look through and I cannot find any New Zealand specific charities, but maybe you are aligned with a global charity or a US-based charity. So have a look through if you want to add that link into your profile there. And then the last two things are really important. If you have an Instagram account, we want to link your TikTok through to Instagram, and the same if you have a YouTube channel. So what happens is when we don't have 1,000 followers and we don't have that clickable link, instead what we have, and you might be able to see there, next to where it says edit profile, I've got a little Instagram icon there. So if my content was talking about, leading people on to a particular link on my website, the journey for them would be to discover my content, see my video, come back to my profile. They would then click on that little Instagram icon and open up Instagram. And then in my Instagram account, that's where I have my link in the bio. So they would have to click on that link. And then if you're using Linktree or you've got this is just a page on my website, then they would click through to whatever content you're wanting to share. So it's a bit frustrating. It's like, 4 clicks maybe for that person to get where they want to go. And they've got to have pretty high intent, like 4 clicks is a lot. We don't have very good attention spans. But it does mean if someone is really motivated to find out more about you or do business with you or buy from you or learn about you, then that's a journey that they can take. So really important, add in your links there, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, or both. Cool. So any questions about that before we keep going? I don't think there is anything. No. Okay, let's keep moving. So the next thing I want to have a wee chat about is the difference between a personal account and a business account. So up in the top corner, I've got these 3 lines. We're going to call that the hamburger menu because it looks a bit like a patty and 2 buns. And then we've got settings and privacy. So when we go into settings and privacy, and then we've got manage account at the top. See how we've got this switch to business account. Now, first of all, this is not legal advice. So I'm not a lawyer and I can't give you legal advice. But the reason I haven't switched to a business account is because if I was to do that, it limits the audio that I can use. So if I switch to a business account, then it really is only like the royalty-free audio that you can use in your TikTok. So I've stuck with a personal account because I quite like to use we call it the trending audio, or, when a new song comes out, Harry Styles, his latest song comes out, everyone's creating content using that song. That can help increase your reach. And I'll tell you how it does that shortly. But that's something that I want to jump aboard. I want to get on that trending audio and use it. Now, unfortunately, TikTok doesn't come out and declare their kind of agreements with music creators and how they license music and that sort of thing. So I've tried to do some research to see, could I get into trouble for this? I'm a business, obviously doing commercial things, using that audio. Am I going to get in trouble for this? And I don't have an answer for you. So if you want to err on the side of caution, absolutely switch your account to a business account. I've made a conscious decision to keep with a personal account so that I can use that trending audio. Now, if you do switch to a business account, a couple of things in there. One, you can schedule posts, so you can create content and then choose when it gets posted. That's a benefit of a business account. And you also get some more analytics. So the personal account, you still get analytics, but they're just not quite as sort of detailed as if you were using a business account. So hopefully that answers, that question of whether you should use a personal or business one. I don't know if you want to seek some legal advice, but if anyone else has some advice out there, let us know in the chat box. We're going to come back a step. There's one more thing I want to mention while we're here in our settings, under settings and privacy, and that's making sure you have your two-factor authentication switched on. So under security, we're going to click there and see how I've got this two-step verification. So what I've done is I've set it up so that if I log into TikTok on a new device, I get sent a text message with a code in it, pop the code in, and I'm in. It means that if someone was trying to hack into your account, obviously you've got that extra level of security. And I want you to switch that on for every social media account that you have: Facebook, Instagram, the whole shebang, not just TikTok. Cool. Right, so we've got our account set up, we've run through everything there. How do we use this thing? Let's have a chat about it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the little house in the bottom left-hand corner. So I'm going to go to home. Now, right up the top there, it might be a little bit tricky to see, but I've got two tabs. I've got following and I've got for you. Now, following is a feed. If I click over there, it's going to show me a feed of content from all the people that I'm following. And this is probably a little bit more what you're used to. So you follow an account, you follow a business, you follow a person, a creator, and then their posts appear in your feed, right? So we're all kind of used to that kind of algorithm or the way that works. But the power in TikTok is this for you. So if I click back to the for you feed, and you might hear this referred to as the FYP or the FY. What this does is it learns over time what I'm interested in, or who I'm connected with, or what content I spend a lot of time watching, and it gets better and better and better over time. And that for you guys is so powerful because it means that you don't have to build up a following to get people to see your content. Because this FYP, this for you algorithm, the workings in the background there are going to work for you to show your content to people, even if you have no followers. So it's really exciting, and it's kind of like the real benefit for creators, or what's sort of driven them over to this platform, is that, like we know how long it takes to grow an audience on social media. TikTok, you don't even need to. You can just put out great content that your target audience, that's the key here, is we want it to resonate with our target audience. So then the algorithm or the back end of TikTok learns who's interested in our content, and it pushes it out to more people like that. So it's a really curated feed that just gets better and better and better over time. But when you start out with a brand new TikTok account, TikTok doesn't know what you're into. So when you start out, and I've heard this over and over again, people go, oh, it's full of rubbish, or, I'm not interested. I have a scroll and it shows me stuff that I don't want to see, and, I'm sick of it and I put it down. But what we can do is we can train the algorithm. We can really quickly teach it what we're into. So say, for example, I'm going to flick over to, let's just turn my volume down a wee bit. I'm going to flick over to the next video. Cool. Okay, so say, for example, I saw that video and I thought, you know what, I'm just really not interested in that video. I would hold my finger down on the screen and up pops this little not interested. So I click not interested.
I often get asked,
and then it goes on to the next video. So that's one way we can train the algorithm. We can say, hey, we're not interested in this. Takes note, yep, won't show you any more content like that. The other thing we can do is we can engage with the content we are interested in. So if you're watching this video and we like this content, we want to see more of it, we might just click on the we love heart and give it a like. We might follow the account. So underneath the little icon on the right, halfway down, there's a plus button. So I can click on that little plus button, and now I'm following that account. And even though I'm not going to necessarily use my following tab, I'm still going to stay in my FYP or my for you. That is teaching my FYP or my for you that I'm interested in this content. So it's worthwhile taking some time. honestly, I promise you, over time, it gets just smarter and smarter and smarter and learns what you're into and shows you more and more content that you're interested in. So that's sort of how we navigate the for you or the following. The next thing I want to show you is right down the bottom, there's an icon that says friends. So when I click on that one, oh, there's Hayden. So,
hey team,
what that's doing there is it is bringing up content from the people that I follow and they follow me. So we're really well connected. There's a reciprocal relationship there. Think of it like, you know, LinkedIn, when you invite someone to connect and they accept it. Both parties have agreed to the sort of, you know, connection. So that can be a really great way to keep on top of, you know, maybe, for example, it's, you know, clients, or if you have a business and you sell wholesale, maybe it's your suppliers, you know, there's different ways that you can kind of use that friends feed so that you can keep on top of content from those that are important to you. So that's the friends feed. Let me see what else I was going to show you here. Angela, how come I have no friends tab? Okay, a couple of things. Have you followed someone and they've followed you back? So a friend is, remember, it's that double-sided thing. You have to follow them and then they have to follow you back. The other thing it could be is your app's out of date, the software on your phone's out of date. So lots of different variables there.
Cool, thanks, Jodine.
Oh, nice to see you.
Yeah,
Cool, awesome. So let's keep moving. The next thing I want to have a chat about is when we're watching content. So a great way to, obviously we spoke about it at the start, is to get inspiration from others' content. And there's a few different things that we might find inspiration in. So if I scroll through to the next one, I'm looking for something specific here. What I'm going to do is whip over to my FYP because I might be.
Show me the 5 years ago.
nobody has shown you how.
Okay. Of course, when I'm looking for it, I thought it would pop up really easily, but let's have a chat. So there's 3 different ways that I might get inspiration. So I might get inspiration from the video itself. So I watch a video and I think, yeah, I could do my own version of that. Or if they're asking a question, you know, that's a great question that I might want to answer in my own content. So if I thought, yep, I want to come back to this video, I want to have a look at it later and create some content inspired by it, I want to hit my little bookmark on the right. So where I've got the little bookmark icon, I hit that, it turns yellow and I've saved that video. The other way I could get inspired is from the audio. So if it's a really cool song, or maybe it's something that I could lip sync to, I know you're all cringing, but yes, lip syncing is cool on TikTok. What we're going to do is hit the music down the bottom. So it might be a bit tricky to see on your screen, but right above the house at the bottom, you can see a little music note there. So, and then we've got a little original sound. So if I click on that, what I can do then is add to favorites. So right at the top, I've got a little add to favorites, and that will save that track, that music, that audio for me so that I can use it in my own content. Now, the thing that I wanted to show you that I can't find an example of, let me.
Things about.
Here are 3.
Hands up.
Here's why the diploma in
What I'm
psychology
looking
and
for
counseling
is a filter. So sometimes, oh, here we go. We've got one here. So down at the bottom there, we can see light makeup. Can you see that there? So underneath where it says your friend, there's like a little magic wand and it says light makeup. So that's a filter that she has used. So I might see that filter, and there's thousands of filters on TikTok. I might think, oh, I want to use that in my own content. So in that case, I would click where it says light makeup. And again, I'm going to add that to my favorites. So it's a good idea to spend some time just having a look through the different content, getting some ideas, getting some inspiration, and saving it. I'm a big fan of batching my content. So creating my content in a batch, blocking out some time in my calendar so that I can just go hard and create a whole lot of content at once. And having a bank of this stuff, a bank of TikToks, of videos, of filters, of audio, really helps my content creation process. Where do we find those? So we've been saving like mad. We hit profile on the right in the corner. So we want to go back to our profile. And then if you can see along the top, I've got sort of 4 little icons sitting above my top videos. If we click on that third one across, that little bookmark icon, now we can see all of our saved things. So I've got 259 saved videos. I created one collection of saved videos, which is what we're going to go through today. I've got 87 saved sounds. So 87 audio tracks that I've thought, oh, I could use that myself. I've got 3 effects, so different types of filters or effects saved there. I've got no comments, no questions. I have 2 hashtags and no products. So this is where we kind of find, this is our sort of bank of everything that we've saved up. Now, you guys can't see that on my account. That's private, and we can see that because over the bookmark, it's got a little eyeball that's crossed out. So that's private to me. So you can't come into my account and think, oh, what she saved. So go hard, saving things that are going to give you some inspiration. And then when you're creating your content, you've got all of that to fall back on. Cool. So that's everything about sort of getting started with TikTok. What we're going to do next is actually dive into creating some content. But before we go any further, are there any questions at this point? Any questions? No, we're all good. Cool. I can see some of you furiously taking notes, which is awesome. Cool. So let's dive into creating some TikToks. Now, I really love the idea of recording content directly into your phone. So how do I explain this? Rather than opening up, so what I do often is when I have an event that is coming up and I think, right, you know, I want to get some content while I'm at that event, what I'll do is I'll set an alarm to go off in my phone, and I'll set it every hour. So say, for example, you were at a trade show and you think, right, I really need to get some, you know, little bits of video or photos at this trade show. I would literally go into my phone, into my alarms, and I'd set an alarm to go off every hour. The same as if I was going to, I don't know, an event in the evening or something like that. That's going to remind me to get out my phone and take a short little video. And we get our phones full of these little bits of video, and that's going to really help you with the content with creating TikToks. So don't even think about opening up TikTok yet. Just think about how can I collect up some little bits of clips. It could be a time lapse of you working. It could be when you're out on your morning walk. It could be a beautiful sunset. It could be lots and lots of things. Often people call this B-roll, or just, you know, getting that content so we can use it later on. And then when we come into TikTok, that's when we can sort of upload that content there. And the reason that I do this is I find it a lot easier. I'm much more familiar with opening up my phone, jumping into the camera and recording a video than I am with getting into TikTok and then, you know, maybe forgetting where, or maybe there's been an update and things have shifted and I'm not quite sure where to click. Don't even worry about that until it's time to create your TikToks. So once we've got all that content that's sitting there in the background, the next thing that I would do is I would create my content by pulling in that. I would create my TikTok by pulling in that content. So the first type of TikTok I'm going to show you, I call this the montage, where we literally just pull together a number of clips. So what we do is we click on that big plus button at the bottom, and you'll probably see my face pop up. Here I am. Cool. And then down in the corner there, we have upload. So when I click on upload, it's going to go into my camera roll. If this is the first time you've used TikTok on your phone, you might have to do the permissions thing, so give it access to your photos. But if I click on upload there, it's going to go into my camera roll. There's some videos I've been recording this morning, but see how up the top there I have recents. So we can kind of navigate through our phones. I'm going to change that to favorites because I've saved some videos in my favorites ready to use. So I've got these videos here where it's me talking to the camera. You know, I've recorded some there. I can scroll back through and have a look at some of the other things that I've got in here. You can add photos, you can add videos, but it's really about bringing together a montage of clips. So I'm going to click on videos and I'm going to go through. I'm going to add, these are from a holiday that we went on. So I'll grab that one, that one, that one, that one. So see how easy it is just to grab all of those clips together. And when I'm happy with those, yeah, that will do. I'm going to click next at the bottom there. Oh, that's right. It's here. Cool. Let's just turn that audio off. So what it's done is it's pulled together those clips into a montage. It has come up with audio for me. So up at the top, it's gone, right, we're going to add this funny song. Now, of course, that doesn't really fit with the video. I've turned the sound off so you can't hear it. But obviously what we can do is just get rid of that song and add whichever audio that we like. So up the top, we're going to click on the little X and we're going to click on add sound. And at this point, we can do a bit of a search. So we could do a search if we know what sound we want, or we just go into our favorites. And this is why it's such a good idea to spend some time collecting up those audio, even if you think, oh, I don't have any idea how I'm going to use that track, but I really like it, or I can see it fitting with my brand, or, I can almost visualize, the feeling it gives people when they hear this audio. So I want to use that. So you could go through your audio and pick a sound that you really like. I'm going to pick this one here, original sound. Cool. And we're going to, before we do that, so a couple of things here is down the bottom, we have a tick where it says original sound. So original sound is the sound that comes with the videos. So all of these videos that I'm uploaded could have their own sound with them. So it's up to you whether you want to leave that there and it gets mixed with the song or the audio you've put over the top of it. The other thing we can do is adjust the volume. So on the right-hand side, we have that wee volume button. And see how we've got two different audio tracks. We've got the original sound, which is the sound that is on our videos, and we have the added sound, which is the music that we've just added on. Now, if it's you talking to camera and you want people to hear you, but you just want like a hint of music in the background, I would dial this added sound down to about 5%. You just want it to be a hint in the background without it being difficult for people to hear what you're saying. So the focus might be on your voice or what you're saying, and we just dial these back down. This one's a bit different because what I want is the song to be nice and loud, and I don't really want my original sound. So I'm going to dial that right down. And then we're just going to click on done. Cool, awesome. So we've got our clips in there and we have our audio. Now, the next thing we might want to do is adjust our clips. So see how that clip there, I'm a bit wobbly as I'm walking along behind the boys. So I'm going to click on the adjust clips button. Now, I did have training previously where I had a few people who had very old phones and they weren't able to update the software and they didn't have the adjust clips button, which is really, really frustrating. If you're in that camp, I've got another tool that I'll show you shortly. But everyone that does have adjust clips, you just literally click on that one there. And what we can do is we can go through and find the clip that we want to adjust. So it might be the second one here. I'm going to go all the way to the end. I'm going to hold my finger at the end there, and I'm going to just crop it. So I just want to crop it in there a wee bit. Same with the next one. We might click on that. That's really long, so I think people don't want to see that much swinging on. Oops, I've just adjusted there. Where are we? That one there. Oh, and we want to slide that in a wee bit. Cool. Same with this one. We might make it short. Now, the key here is that we want to hold people's attention. So we don't want to have a massive long video of just me walking on the beach. We might keep this one nice and short there. 3 seconds is good. Cool. Now, a couple of questions. How long do we make these videos? So depending on the version of TikTok you're using, you can actually make videos up to 10 minutes. I do not recommend it. You have to have a pretty compelling story for someone to sit there for 10 minutes to follow that story. So instead, I like to stick with under 1 minute, but test it. See what works for your audience. We all have different target audiences. For some, it may longer may be better, but definitely under that sort of 1 minute mark is ideal, particularly when you're sort of getting started. It might be easier to make shorter videos than longer ones. Cool. Another question, the tab that says products, is this for product sales? Yeah, so TikTok is working on an integrated shopping catalog. So you know how on Instagram, how you can connect up your shop and you can add your products that feed through. So TikTok has the same thing. So if you are using Shopify, you might see in Shopify now there's a little notification that's popping up and saying, add the TikTok channel and have your products feeding through. So absolutely, you can sync those products through. Personally, I haven't had firsthand experience other than seeing that little pop up in Shopify, but I suspect it's really similar to when you add the Facebook channel and you connect it up with your Facebook account and you have those products feeding through. I did hear someone say that you do have to have 1,000 followers to have that shop link. So that's it's a good idea to get started, get some content out there and build that sort of following to get to the 1,000 mark, and then you can get your products feeding through. Cool, awesome. So we've got our clips, we have edited the length, we're all happy with that there. What we might want to do though, is we might want to change the order of them. So to do that, we literally just hold our finger down on the clip, and you can see there that it's as easy as shuffling them around and deciding on where you want that to sit. Cool. And then once I'm happy with that, I can just click save up the top there. I'll save that. Cool. That's looking pretty good. So then the next thing we might want to do is add some text over the screen. So right at the very top there, we've got a little AA button. So I'll click on that there, and I might write fantastic holiday up north, NZ, New Zealand. Cool. And then we can obviously, like, if you're familiar with Instagram, we can change the font, we can change the color, we can click on the little A with the box around it to make it a little bit easier to read. It puts it puts an outline around it. We can put a box behind it. So there's lots and lots of different things we can do, and they're very, very similar to Instagram stories. The other thing we've got in there is that little voiceover. So you see the little man with the little bubbles in front of him. What we can do is click on that there. And what it does is we pick a voice, and it will speak those words. So when someone watches our video, those words are going to be spoken words, so that they can hear what it's saying there. So that's another little option that you can add in there. I'm a big fan of adding text to your videos like this. A few reasons why. Number one is it's another way to engage people. So I don't know if everyone's like this, but I tend to read faster than I listen. So if I can quickly read what the video is going to be about on the screen, then if it's something that interests me, it's more likely to, sort of suck me in and pull me in, and I'll watch it. The other thing is that it helps for SEO, or search engine optimization. So TikTok works like a massive search engine. And we're finding with the younger generation is they will go to TikTok or a social media platform to search for things before they'll go to Google. It's like this random shift in behavior. And so what we want to do is make sure we give TikTok as much information about our content as possible. So all of these words that we're putting in here, when we put some text over the top, these are actually searchable. So if someone is looking for like New Zealand holiday, TikTok can see that I've used those words in my video, and it can connect up that search, whoever's searching for New Zealand holiday, with my video. So my video can appear in their search results. So SEO, just like you'd think about SEO for your own website and how you include specific search terms on your website, is just as important on TikTok. So it's a really good way to add some, topics to your video there. So I'm going to go ahead and click done at the top. Cool. And this is looking pretty good. I might obviously move the text, so I don't really want it right sitting in the middle there. Maybe I'll move it. Actually, I might sit it at the bottom there. And see how as I'm moving the text around, it shows me when I've gone too far to the side. So you can see some little icons pop up very faintly so that you can make sure that your text is not going to be covered. So I might pop it there, and that looks pretty good to me. There's obviously tons of different things you can play with that we're not going to get into right now. So there's stickers, there's different effects you can add in there, filters, obviously. If I was speaking words, this is where we would add captions, but we'll have a look at that in a minute. But I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to click on next. Then you've got 3 important jobs. The first thing is we need to write our caption or our description to go with our video, and we need to think about those search terms. What are people looking for on TikTok, and how can we make sure they find our content? So again, not thinking about the fact, they might not know us, they might not know our business, but they might really, really need something from us. They might need our products, they might need our services. What words are they searching for? So we go ahead and we write in our caption there. I might put in New Zealand, New Zealand family holidays are the best. Thinking, someone could be searching for family holiday, New Zealand family holiday, thinking about all of those search terms. And then the second thing, so the second thing of 3 that we need to do is think about some hashtags. So in the same way that we've got search terms in there in our written words, so in our sort of natural language, we also want to put in some hashtags that people might be searching for. So I wouldn't repeat something like New Zealand holiday because we've already covered that in the text there. So instead what I might put is Northland, NZ Beach. Oops. I might think about my target audience for this. I might want to be connecting with New Zealand mums. I might want to be connecting with, who else? Maybe I want to reach an overseas market. I might use mom, like the mom American spelling. So think about those sort of people you want to connect with and also those search terms and pop those in as hashtags. The last thing we need to do before we either publish this or save it as a draft is select our cover. Now, if I click on select cover, hopefully you can see that there on the little thumbnail. What this lets me do is it lets me pop a piece of text across the top so that if someone goes to my profile and is looking for this video, they can find it really easily. So sometimes you're scrolling through TikTok and you kind of half watch something and you don't really register. And then later on you think, oh, I'll go back and have a look at that. And you get to their profile and they've got thousands of videos and you're scrolling and you're thinking, which video was that? So we want to make it really easy for people to find our video. So the first thing we can do is move our finger across the top to change the little GIF. So as it shows in our profile, it will be a short little, second back and forth boomerang. That's the word I'm looking for. It'll be a little boomerang. And then down the bottom, we choose our text type. So there's lots and lots of different options. I quite like this green bubble for no reason other than I like green. I'll pop in here and I'll put family holiday Northland, New Zealand. Cool. So now I know if someone came to my profile and they're searching for this video, I've captured the essence in this cover and they're going to go, yep, that's the one I was looking for, and they can click on it and watch it. So we want to give a nice clear cover image and we're going to click save at the top there. And that's all ready to go. So at this point, we can either save it to our drafts or we can go ahead and post it. One little tip, and it might be relevant for you or it might not be, but what happens with hashtags is when we click on a hashtag or search for a hashtag, it brings up a number of how many views that hashtag or how many views the TikToks that have used that hashtag have had. I don't know if I'm explaining it right. Okay. So what I've done is whenever I post a video is I've put hashtag social smarty on it. So now if I go and click on that hashtag, it tells me how many views I've had on all of my videos that have social smarty hashtagged. So number one, you'd have to come up with a hashtag that other people aren't using. So it would need to be really unique for you. But if you're in a position where you might be reporting to someone or you might be measuring your own sort of metrics for your marketing, this could be a really good way to see, how many video views or how many views of our TikToks have we had in total, since we launched our account. So adding a hashtag to every one of your videos that's unique, that it's only you that's using it, is just a little tip there. Again, might not be relevant, but could be relevant. Cool. So I'm going to pop this into my drafts. I'm going to put that away. Cool. And now if later on I wanted to post it, I go back into my profile and see there on the left, I've got it sitting there as a draft. So it's all ready to post. I would literally just have to click on my drafts, open it up, get through next, make sure I'm happy, and then hit post. So that's why it's a good idea to kind of batch your content, create a whole lot, have it all sitting there. If we go back, see how many drafts? These are all drafts that I have sitting there waiting to post. So I've spent some time, I've created that content. I'm wearing the same thing in almost every one of them, which, little tip, if you're going to batch your content, maybe get changed halfway through because it does look a little bit boring that I've got the same black jumper on. But yeah, just batch your content, get it all ready, and then you can pop it out. One little tip is I often do a lot of content batching when I've just got back from the hairdresser, when I'm feeling really good. Cool, awesome. So that's the montage, really easy. And you could probably go ahead and create a montage right now with the content you've already got in your phone. Chances are you've got tons of little clips that you can stick together. You can even use photos if you don't have videos. Put that montage together, put some cool audio in the background, think about those search terms, what people can be looking for, and you've done your first TikTok. Really easy. Cool. Let's dive into the second one. I'm going to call this one the B-roll with the text on the screen. So this is where it's really cool to have some sort of like video that you have recorded where it's maybe out on a walk, or it's a beautiful sunset, or it's a time lapse of you working. Because what we're going to do is use that in the background, but the key part of this TikTok is going to be the message on the screen there. So again, I'm going to click on my plus button at the bottom. Here's me again. I'm going to go into my camera roll. I'm going to go into my videos, and I'm going to find, I've got this one here. Next. So this is just a little sort of montagey background thing that I've put together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put text all on top of that. So I'm going to click on my text box and I'm going to write a lovely message. So in the same way you might write, if you're doing an Instagram post and you have a really well thought out caption, I might put that into my text here. So being a social media trainer means supporting my clients to connect with their target audience and tell their amazing stories online. Oops. Cool. I'll make that a little bit easier to read. Awesome. Cool. I'm going to make it nice and big and in the center there. So we can see here, this TikTok is all about the message. It is not about the video that's happening in the background. The video might give you a sense. So if you're talking about, if it's a video of the sunrise, you might, if you have a kind of a wellness approach to your business, you could align your messaging with the video in the background, but it's really just about that kind of text over the top there. So again, I might just shuffle that in a bit. Once I'm ready, I'll just click next. I will do my captions. I'll think about my keywords in there. I'll add my hashtags in, and then I'll add my cover image. So keeping it really, really simple. Like again, you guys could probably create that TikTok immediately. You've got a lovely quote in your mind, or you've got a message you want to share with your audience. You've got a bit of video in the background, and that is just the most simple TikTok you can create. Now, I've just realized I've forgotten one thing. Can anyone think what I didn't do with this TikTok? Something that's really important about TikToks. Can anyone put it in the chat box? What did I forget? Someone's going to get it. Music. Yeah, absolutely. I forgot my music, and that's absolutely fine because we can just go back in. So I'm going to click on the arrow back at the top. I'm going to click on add sound at the very top there. I'm going to pick one of my favorites, one of my songs that I've saved. Hold Me Closer. Has anyone heard the new Elton John, Britney Spears song? Love it. We're going to pick that one there. I'm going to give you a little taste of that. Oh, did you hear me talking? I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to go down to volume. I'm going to kill my original sound, and I'm going to keep that music up nice and loud. Fun fact, I walked down the aisle to Tiny Dancer. Cool. So it's a pretty special song for me. Awesome. Now we've got our music, so we can hit next. Again, caption, thinking about keywords, thinking about search terms, thinking about those hashtags, add that cover image, and we're ready to post. So that's TikTok number 2. That's the one with the text on the screen. The last one we're going to cover off is the scariest one of all. It's where you talk to the camera. Now, this is all about showing your face because people connect with people. We want to look you in the eye. We want to know who the person is behind the business. So it is scary. It is really scary when we talk to camera, but it gets easier. I promise it gets easier. And if you're used to Instagram stories, Facebook stories where you do talk to camera, this might be really easy for you. But the key for this one here, I'm just going to discard that one. Cool. I'll go out of there. So the key to this one is we don't want to record it directly in the TikTok app. We want to record it on our phone. And the way that I do it is I have little videos, and each video is an individual sentence. So say I wanted to have a chat with you, and I might have, 6 sentences that I'm going to talk to you about. Each sentence is going to be an individual clip. And for me, that's really helpful because, for one, I don't have to keep coherent for 6 sentences. I don't need to make sure I say the right words. I focus on what I'm going to say, I record that, and then I actually edit it so that I crop the start and the end off. So I've got a nice short little clip. So I'll show you what that looks like in practice. So I'll go onto my camera. So we'll flip you around. Cool. Oh. It is good if you have a tripod, because who wants to get seasick looking at my video? Let's dive in here. I'm going to hit record. Social media is all about creating connections. Cool. And I'll push stop. Awesome. So I have my first sentence there. Media is all about creating connections. Cool. Awesome. So what we want to do is chop the start and the bottom and the end off. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to slide my finger in to when I start talking. And then at the end as well. No one needs to see that last little bit. And what I'm doing here is I'm looking at my lips. So as soon as my lips close, cool. Awesome. Done. I'm going to save that video there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep recording my message. So I might end up with, say, 5 or 6 clips where it's me talking to the camera. And the reason that we're doing this is not just for your own ease of recording, so you can think about what you're going to say and only have to say 1 sentence at a time, but it's about holding people's attention as well. So if we have short little clips that we stick together, there's no big gaps, there's no breaths, there's no ums, there's no wondering about what we're going to say next, we're more likely to hold people's attention. And then we just have a montage. So we go right back into TikTok, we click on the plus button, we click down the bottom to upload, we select our videos. So I've got them saved in my favorites here. Here are my favorites. Yeah. And we just add them in. Yep, those ones there. So I'll add those clips in. Cool. Cool. So it's me talking to camera, 1 sentence, switches to the next sentence, next sentence, next sentence, and see how that would hold someone's attention. We're not having those big pauses in between. We're not struggling with what to say. We're short, sharp, keep people's attention, keep their focus. We've got attention spans of fleas at the moment, so we need to keep people's attention. So once I'm all happy with that, obviously I need to get rid of it. It keeps adding that funny song at the top. So for some reason, TikTok thinks that my content is somehow funny. I don't know why. We're going to ditch that song at the very top there. Cool. Awesome. So the next thing we can do if we needed to would be adjust the clips. We can reorder them, all that sort of thing there. I'm going to add some text on the screen. So again, remember how I said it's really a good idea to have something along the top there that people can instantly understand what you're going to talk about. A bit of a hook. It's like a newspaper headline. When you scan the newspaper and you're like, oh, which article should I read? The same concept here. If we can create a hook that's going to draw people in and they'll go, oh, I want to know more about this, then that is what is going to keep them watching. So in this one here, you can't hear, but I'm talking about why marketing is like weight loss. To me, that seems like a little bit clickbaity. Someone might go, oh, what does she mean by that? And they might want to keep listening. So it's my way of sort of drawing people in. So why marketing, oops, might help if I can spell why marketing is like weight loss, ... Cool, make that a little bit more readable. Might drop the word weight down there. Then I can make that bigger and pop it up the top. So you can see how instantly, just by adding that little bit of text at the top, people are going to be drawn in because their eyes will see it. They'll go, oh, what's this all about? How dare she talk about weight loss? I don't know if it's a PC topic at the moment, or, I'm trying to lose weight. This might be interesting. Or what does she mean by that? It's going to hook people in. They're going to watch my content and listen a little bit longer. So now we can add in our background music. So up the top, we'll add sound. We'll come down to our favorites. We'll pick a song. Where's a good one? Obviously, we need to get a song that's long enough. So let's pick this one here that's 28. You might not be able to see that very clearly, but each song gives you a little length so that you know how long each song is. If I was to pick a song that was only 5 seconds and I'm talking for 10 seconds, what will happen is that audio will play for 5 and then it will be quiet. So it'll be a little bit, it'll be a bit awkward because you'll hear that audio and then it will drop off. So instead I'll pick one that's long enough. So I might pick this one here. Cool. Awesome. And then we're going to adjust our volume. So I want the original sound at 100 because it's all about my voice. And I want that added sound right down there at 5%. Cool. And we'll click on done. Awesome. So we've got our audio, we have got our hook or our text across the top, we've got our videos. The last thing we want to do is add in our captions. So where we've got captions on the right hand side there, we can click on that. Hopefully this is going to work. I've had a few hiccups with captions lately. Cool, no, it's working, awesome. So what it's done is it has pulled out my message, the voice, what I'm speaking about, and it has converted it all to text. So it's at this point that I would just have a run through and I would have a look and make sure that it understands me. If you have any funny spelling or any words that have unique spellings, or Te Reo Māori, or like even your name, it can spell it different ways. So you might want to go in and edit, and it's as simple as just clicking on your little pencil icon there, and then you can click on the bit that you want to change. So here it said improving your ECO, where I actually said SEO. Cool, so I can update that and click save. And then we've got our caption, so we can click save at the top there. So they'll just sit along the bottom there. And again, I think it's important, we want to be inclusive, we want to be accessible. We don't want to, if someone does have the audio off or they struggle to hear the audio, they can understand what we're talking about. So we're all good with that. We'll click on next. And then hopefully you remember your 3 steps. Caption, think about those keywords. Hashtags, think about who your target audience is and any additional keywords or search terms you can add in there, and select your cover and make it really clear what that video is about. So that's it. I've shown you 3 different TikToks that you can create, and I'm pretty sure you guys could nail all 3 of those. Let me show some other things that we can do with TikTok. So I'm just going to save that one as a draft because I might come back to it. So first of all, if you're having any issues with the editing, there is another app that you can use that integrates really nicely with TikTok. So it's owned by the same company, and it pulls through things like audio and it saves your favorites and things like that. So the name of that is CapCut. So if you can see this little icon sitting here, CapCut, when I open up that, the first step that we do when we set up an account with CapCut is we link it to our TikTok account. And it means that we can use this to create content, to create a project, and then we can literally just push it over to TikTok to post it. So if you're having struggling with any of the editing features, CapCut's a really good option. The other cool thing about CapCut is it has a desktop version. So if you prefer to create content, sitting at your computer rather than on your phone, that could be a good option for you. It's free, you don't have to pay anything. But yeah, it's just, particularly if you've got an old phone, you might be missing some of those features in the TikTok editor. So check out CapCut, it's really cool. Awesome. So let's dive into some of the other things that we can do with TikTok, some of the things that kind of make it a little bit unique. So the first thing we can do is we can stitch a video. So stitching a video means that we take someone else's content and we add our own part to it. So I'll show you some examples actually, that might make it easier to understand. So that might be quite loud, but let's have a look. I saved a few this morning. Let me find a stitch. Is that one? Of course, I can't find the one that I'm looking for. Oh no, here it is right here at the top. Okay, so remember at the start I said this is TikTok is all about pushing the boundaries. So there's this guy in Florida, he is a politician and he has been really trying hard to get the younger generation out and about to vote, right? And so what he did is he took this young lady's video and he made it his own. So he plays part of her video at the start and then he stitches it. So he chooses a point in the video at which to take over and then put the rest of his video on the end. So it starts with her and then he stitched it with himself. Have a look, it'll make sense.
Be the shit if I really came you.
Hey, are you registered to vote? There's a primary on August 23rd and the general election November 8th. Wait, come back, wait.
Be the shit
I'll play it one more time.
if I really came you.
Hey, are you registered to vote?
It's smooth, isn't it? That transition is smooth. So it starts off with the young lady and she, you know, does a little move and then he stitches it. So at a point he cuts her off and then it transitions to him. Now, for me, this sort of stuff is wild. Like if you think about politicians, you wouldn't think about this kind of content, but that's why it gets so much engagement. You know, he's had 88,000 likes on this. He's had over 10,000 shares. You know, it's obviously not going to be the right fit for everyone's message, but for him, you know, it's done a really good job at getting him connected with the younger generation. So we can see that it's a stitch down the bottom. It might be a bit tricky to see, but see where it says hashtag stitch, and then it says with Skylar Sticker. I think that's her name. So what it's done is when he's created this stitch is it has made reference to her video. So where it has her name there, if I click on that,
Must be the shit if I really came you. Bust it open, bend over, put my back in.
it takes us through to the original video. So for him to see that and come up with that idea, I don't know if he has someone young on his team who helps him with this stuff, but it just blew my mind. Like to get some, you know, attention on your message is just, you know, this sort of stuff is just crazy. So that's a stitch. Now, when you post your own videos, we sort of skipped past it, but there's the opportunity to turn that off. So if I go back into my drafts, if I was going to post this one here, let's turn my audio down. So when I share this one, see how I've got allow stitch. So if I didn't want people to have the opportunity to do that to my videos, if I didn't want them to be able to, you know, take the start of it and then put their own ending on it, I would just turn that toggle off. So now that when I post that, people won't be able to stitch it. But to me, I think, yeah, it's kind of a catch-22 because if someone stitches it and it does really well, that's bringing more back to me, you know, that's more brand awareness for my brand. Or they might be, you know, mocking me or making me feel silly. So, yeah, it kind of depends on what your message is. You know, is it likely that it could be taken the wrong way? Or is it really great that we're going to get sort of more brand awareness for our brand? By default, I've left on that ability for all my videos. So I figure I'm a pretty vanilla brand that people aren't going to be, you know, taking my message and then taking the mickey out of me. So if we go back a step, let's get out of here. So that's a stitch. So that's taking someone else's video, playing part of it, and then adding your other part to the end. The other thing we can do is a duet. So a duet's a little bit different. That's where we take a video and we either have ourselves alongside it or above it. And so we're seeing both, you know, both videos. So we see their video plus our own interpretation of it or whatever we want to share. So let me show you an example of that. So this one here I thought was really lovely. So a quick little bit of context. So this guy here, he is a vocal coach and he teaches people how to sing, and he has lots of content about how to sing. And so what he's done is he's teaching people how to sing a particular Billie Eilish song. Now, Billie Eilish herself has duetted this video. So she's taken his video and she's added herself to the left. So the left-hand side is Billie's video and the right is the vocal coach. And she's shared it out, you know, via her TikTok account. So I'll just turn it up a wee bit. We won't play the whole thing.
All you Billie Eilish fans, this is called Listen Before I Go. It's a beautiful song. I want you to sing it while I play. But on the chorus, the bit where it goes, sorry, can't say me now, if that feels too low and grungy for you.
So Billy hasn't actually added a lot of value to that, but what she has done is she's basically endorsed him, hasn't she? She's basically saying this guy, you know, is good enough for me to share out on my own TikTok. She approves of his, you know, version of her song. So I thought that was a really lovely example of how you could use a duet. Now, obviously, we're not all Billie Eilish, so by duetting someone, it's not, you know, going to have quite the same power. But maybe, you know, if you are an online retailer and there's particular products that you stock in your store, you could have, you know, someone doing a review of one of the products, or, you know, if you sell products, they could be reviewing, you know, your own products. It could be someone you look up to in your industry. It could be someone who's doing something really cool in the space that you work in, and you just want to highlight that you agree with their messaging. You know, and it could just be you sitting there on the side, just nodding along or giving them a thumbs up, or just basically, you know, making it clear that you agree with what their message is. So there's lots of different ways that you can use that duet there. So those are kind of two things that are kind of unique to TikTok. Another really cool thing, as you start to share some content, as people are commenting on your content, that can be a massive source of ideas. So what can happen is you might put a post out and someone asks you a question. So they put in the comment box, can you tell me more about this? Now, instead of you just going in and typing your response and saying, yep, sure, blah, 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 what you want to do is create a video that answers their question. So for example, if I have a look at my videos, let's take this one here. Cool. So this video is talking about using social media to drive or build your email community. And I said in the video, I said in my caption, let me know, do you want some suggestions? And someone down here said, yes, please, right? So instead of just hitting reply to Hannah and just saying, oh, here's some ideas for you, what I could do instead is hit as if I was going to reply to her. But see how I've got that little video icon there? So if I click on the video, it lets me record a video reply. So, hey, Hannah, you know, some ideas for using social media to build your email community could include X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. It's a much more powerful response to Hannah. But the other thing it does is it gives you some ideas for your content. And you know they're good ideas because your target audience is there asking those questions. So if one person has taken the time to actually put that question or, you know, ask that question, there's bound to be others that are interested and want to know the answer too. So it can be, you know, as you build up that reach and as you get more and more engagement on your own videos, they can be a huge source of content for future videos. So that's responding to comments with a video instead of just text. And then on a similar sort of line as that, is if we go back up into our hamburger menu at the top there, and then under settings, settings and privacy, we've got this little, where is it? Let me find it. Am I blind? Where is it? Settings. Oh, sorry, guys. It's in the hamburger menu and it's in Creator Tools. Ignore me. So we go into hamburger menu and we click on Creator Tools. And it's the Q&A. So in the Q&A section, really similar to responding to a comment with a video, but in here, we have all sorts of questions in there. So what month is your birthday? Who's the one person you'll never stop loving? You know, some of them are a bit cheesy. What are you most proud of? And so what you can do is you can answer those questions with your own video. So the exact same concept. If I was to answer that one, I'd click answer. And then I can speak to the camera. It's got that little box up the top there, and it just gives you some ideas of some content to create. So often when we start with platforms like TikTok, we're like, oh, what the heck do we post? But once we get into the flow of it and start creating some really good content, or just creating any content, we start to get an idea of what our target audience is into, and then that helps us get that momentum up. But it's always the hardest thing is just getting started. So using those different tools there can help you really get started. So the last thing I want to mention about the different features is obviously the filters. If anyone has ever used Snapchat, I think I exclusively use it for the filters and playing around with my kids, but TikTok has much of the same filters. So down in the bottom, we'd go and create a TikTok. So I'll click on the plus button there and then see how we've got effects. So down in the little corner there, we've got effects. And then we can just go crazy having a play around. So this one's a glitch. This one here. That one's got some audio. That one's got a pretty cool background. That would be fun to use if you're, in an office space and you don't want to be able to see everyone behind you. So dive in there, have a look at what's trending, have a bit of a play around. And again, it can just help get those creative juices flowing. Let's get out of there. Cool. So that's creating content. The other thing that's quite new to TikTok is stories. So over on Instagram and Facebook, we're really familiar with stories. They disappear, after 24 hours. So TikTok has that same feature there. And so what we can do is create content. So up at the top there next to my little profile icon there. So I can click on the plus button and see down the bottom in the middle, it tells me that I'm recording a story. So in the same way that when we record a story on Instagram, we get that lovely circle around our profile image. People know there's a story there. They can only see it for 24 hours and then it disappears. We do get an archive, so it does save it in the archive for us. I haven't found much use for stories because the way I use TikTok is quite relaxed and off the cuff. I found that stories really haven't been much appeal to me at all. But for you might want to have a go, and particularly if you're nervous about getting started, you might think, I just want to post this as a story just to get something out there, but knowing that it will disappear after 24 hours. Cool, awesome. So before we dive on to the next part, are there any questions there? No, cool, you guys are doing awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop sharing my, what should I do next? No, actually what I might do before we jump into the last module is I might just go through and give you some examples of some different TikToks, just so that we can maybe have a little bit of a chat about them and have a look at how other businesses, other organizations are using TikTok. So we'll dive in and we'll have a wee look. Cool. So I've already shown my favorite politician. I just think his content is absolutely wild. The other content that I'm finding really interesting is the Wellington City Council. Now, when I first discovered their TikTok account, I honestly thought that someone had created a joke account. I thought someone had just gone out there pretending to be the council and creating this really off-the-cuff crazy content. But what I'm starting to see now is, yes, it is actually the Wellington City Council, but they're really engaging the younger generation. So this is an example of one of their TikToks. So, this is obviously talking about the Wellington on a plate, saying all the Wellington on a plate burgers chilling in my stomach. Now, this little chap here is an effect. His name is Horace. And he kind of went a little bit viral on TikTok, and everyone was creating these videos with them dancing with Horace. So he's like an augmented reality. You can have him projected onto the screen while you're dancing along with him. Now, to see Wellington City Council using Horace in a TikTok like this just blew my mind. I thought this was hilarious. So this is an example of jumping on a trend, using a trend, but putting your own spin on it. This is another example. So this video here. So there's a piece of audio that's going around, and the whole concept behind this one is that you're trying to get someone to do something that they don't want to. And the audio, when you hear it, it's quite funky and gets stuck in your head. But obviously in this video, they're saying POV, which stands for point of view. So when you want to say, point of view, put yourself in this situation, or this, you want to explain the situation when it's your turn to clean the poo out of the pool. So he's trying to avoid. He's obviously trying to avoid the pooper scooper. He doesn't want to be the one to clean the poo out of the pool. So yeah, again, I'm like, this is the council. This is the type of content that they're creating, but they're just getting really good engagement. It's something that you're not expecting from them. And then after Wellington had been doing it for a little while, then Christchurch came along, and they were pretty late to the game. So they created a video that, or a TikTok that sort of played on the fact that they were quite late to join TikTok.
Hey. Hey. How y'all doing?
So again, that audio is used a lot, you know, to show a trend is when you're a little bit late to something, you sort of show up going, hey, hello. So I thought that was really cool of Christchurch to do that little video there. And then if we go down a little bit further, so this one here, let me see. Let's go back into my collection. Let's start at the bottom here. Cool, awesome. So this one here, this is a really simple montage. So this is like the very first one that I showed you. So Gorgeous Escapes New Zealand. They've literally just stuck a whole lot of clips together, obviously showcasing a holiday in New Zealand. Now, what I do love about this one is they have used the audio really well. So every half a second, we've got that beat in the audio, and that's what they've timed the clips to. So each half a second, as we get that beat in the audio, they've switched up the clips. Let's have another quick look. I love that. I think it's just such a simple idea, just having that little, you know, boom, boom, boom on the audio there. Cool.
Let's see how far a single video can go. If you see this video, give it a like and comment where you're from. Let's see how far a single video can go.
So this one you could use in your own organization, just about getting engagement. You know, they've got 58 comments on this video, which I suspect will be people telling them where they are: Melbourne, Ohio, Belgium, Georgia, California, you know, really cool way. So it's not their audio. They haven't created it. They've used it, and you could use it too. Really simply, you just click on the little audio down the bottom there. I might add that to my favorites. I might use that one later on. And then, yeah, they've just put a really simple business focused video in the background. Let's have another look. We've done this one. Oh, this was another, I thought this was hilarious. This is a duet, so using someone else's video alongside yours. Now, this lady's an author, and she writes a particular type of book. Let me know if you can figure out what kind of genre she writes.
Smut! Give me smut and nothing but a dirty novel I can't shut if it's uncut and unsubtle.
That made me giggle. There's no guessing what kind of novel she writes. So I thought that was quite funny. A really good use of audio. Yeah, exactly. Erotica, something like that. So yeah, really cool way to use that duet there. So she's obviously found that video and used it in her own content. Then we come up to this one. Here is another cool one where they've used audio to really make us feel something. So when you listen to this audio, you kind of get a sense of, you know, how this person's feeling. And it's that really simple, that TikTok we created where it's just the text on the screen. But have a listen to this.
It's entirely possible that
So how simple is that, and how many of us can relate to that? So she's got some text on the screen. It's a very, very simple video in the background, but that audio, that use of audio that makes us all feel something, doesn't it? You can almost feel how chaotic and how stressful and how, you know, full on that feeling is. So I thought that was quite a good example. We have this lady here. So this is another sort of text on screen. So it's literally just a video of her typing in her computer. You know, she hasn't done anything fancy here. She's got some audio in the background and she's using text across her screen. Frances, I really enjoy as a creator. I think she was on the telly a couple of days ago talking about how the young ones are getting their financial advice from TikTok now, which is really interesting. But she is someone that I follow. She's written a few books. So yeah, have a look at this one. So simple video, audio, and then she's got some text on the screen, which is her message. So really simple there. This one here is another sort of audio driven one.
This, I sell this, also this, and this one too, and this, and this. This, I sell this, also this.
So again, all that, they haven't even bothered with video. They've just obviously had a lovely photo shoot. They've got some gorgeous photos of their products, and they've just put some audio in the background that makes it all make sense. You know, adding that audio. Without the audio, it would just be a boring old slideshow. But once we add that audio in, it gives it a little bit more meaning. Let's see what else I've got to show you. Cool, this one here is another trend. So the whole trend was based off two things that are really good. So one that's good, one that's great, and then one thing that's not so great. It'll make sense in a minute.
2 plastic Easter eggs filled with mung beans. 2 Christmas tree ornaments filled with jingle bells. 2 wads of masking tape tied together with a pink ribbon. 2 plastic Easter eggs.
So she's saying making small, simple changes to help the planet. Yeah, that's
filled
good.
with mung beans. 2 Christmas
Voting for decision makers who will address climate change. That's
tree ornaments filled with jingle bells. 2 wads of
doing nothing because you don't think it will make a difference, not good. Now, this is a trend that's gone absolutely viral on TikTok. Everyone is using this audio and creating their own version. So something that's good, something that's great, and then something that's not good at all. So that's how the trends kind of take off. Everyone uses the same audio, they put their own spin on it, and they create something that is meaningful for their organization or their business. Kathleen, do we need to be concerned with copyright issues? Kathleen, you might have missed my little spiel at the start. So yeah, this is a tricky one. So TikTok doesn't publicly tell us what their licensing agreement is with audio creators. But what TikTok does say in their terms is that they will police that. So if they find that there is someone has uploaded audio that they don't have the copyright, you know, they don't have the rights to use, that will often get stripped out. And if you've used that audio, then it will get stripped out as well. Now, I use a personal account. So my TikTok is set up as a personal account, and that gives me access to audio that you would hear on the radio, you know, the stuff that you can sing along to. If I convert my account to a business account, I lose that audio. So all I get is like the royalty free, you know, the type of music that you might hear in an elevator and you can't sort of sing along to. I've made the choice to do that. I'm not saying you should. I'm not giving you any kind of legal advice, or whether you want to, you know, err on the side of caution and have a business account and only have access to that sort of to that royalty-free music. Yeah, I can't really answer that one, but I've done lots of research into it, and I could only find one case, which was a company called Bang Energy in the US, and basically they had hundreds and hundreds of advertisements they had created using music from a particular record label. They were sued and they lost that case. I can't find any record of any, you know, small creator having any issues there. The worst that happens is that audio gets stripped out. So long story short, I don't really have an answer for you. Yeah, I know that saying that everyone does it is not really a good enough answer, because, you know, we shouldn't do things that everyone does if they're wrong. Oh, where are we? Yeah, so I don't know. Any tips to get your first 1,000 followers? Oh, it is so frustrating, and it's getting harder and harder. So yeah, it's a really tricky one. What happens is, because everyone uses that FYP or the For You page, is they get used to seeing your content because they might watch you for a long time, and then that informs the algorithm that they're interested in you. And so you keep popping up in their feed without them even having to follow you. So the only thing I would say is, every so often, maybe create a video that encourages people to follow you. So it says something like, you know, if you enjoy my content, make sure you hit that follow button. Or maybe it's you know, maybe it's like, we're creating a new tea flavor. We can't wait to share it with you next week. You know, make sure you're following along, and you'll make sure that you'll see what the new tea flavor is, for example. So it's about reminding people that they should be following you. I wouldn't recommend doing it all the time, because it does sound a bit cringy, but I think every so often just saying, hey, don't forget to give us a follow, or even putting it in your caption, I think is a good idea. Once you get to 1,000 followers, it's like a snowball effect. And the other cool thing about, you know, not just being able to link up your products and have a link in your bio, but the other cool thing once you get to 1,000 followers is you can do live video. And what happens is, when you go live, is TikTok really encourages people to follow you. So once you've got that live functionality or that ability to go live, you'll find if you start doing some live video, that will start to grow your followers. So it's kind of frustrating because it doesn't help you get to that 1,000 to allow you to go live. But once you can go live, it's a great way to grow your followers. So actually that's something I didn't show you guys, is where to find the live videos. So if we go back to our profile, and I'm going to go back to the home at the bottom there. Oh, stop that. So up in the corner there, can you see the little live word? So it says live up the top there. If I was to click on that, it's going to go into a live stream.
And I'll go on a retreat. In other words, like...
Turn that down. Cool. So this is where we find live videos. So this lady here is, I think she's a tarot reader by the looks of things. So if I swipe up, I get to the next live one. So I don't know what she's talking about. And there's a young person. Yeah. So you can just scroll through, but see how at the very top there it says follow. So it's encouraging me to follow them there. Also, when the live stream ends, a big follow button pops up on the screen and encourages people to follow you. So it really does help grow your following once you can go live. It's really interesting what you find on there. Literally last night while I was doing a bit of work, I found a Kiwi guy who was doing some DJing, and I listened to his music for about an hour. It was really good. He did a fantastic job. There was only about 6 of us listening, but it was really cool, really funky. And everyone who was listening, gave him a follow and really appreciated his mahi. So it was kind of cool. So that's live. But yeah, sorry, long story short, tips to get to 1,000 followers. Encourage your audience to follow you. Maybe look at your other social media channels. So can you encourage your Instagram followers that may also have a TikTok account, or your Facebook followers, your email community? So let your email community know that you're now on TikTok, come over and follow you there. Obviously creating good content that your target audience are interested in, that's going to engage them, is really, key there as well. But yeah, I recognize it's a hard grind to get to that first 1,000, and I'm not there yet. Cool, awesome. So in our last half hour, what I want to cover off is kind of some repurposing, what to do. So you're creating your TikToks, you're having lots of fun with it, but we don't want to just leave them on TikTok. We want to look at other ways that we can use them across different platforms as well. So I'm going to stop sharing there. And I'm going to share another screen. I'll just have a quick glass of water. Cool. Let's dive into this one here. Cool. Can you see that? Maybe not. That one here. Cool. Can you guys let me know if you can see a big window with a blue thing that says TikTok video download? Thumbs up. Cool. Awesome. So this is a really cool tool to download your videos so that you can have them to use to other platforms. So what we do here is we log into our TikTok account on our computer. So I do this on my computer just because I find it a little bit easier than on my phone. And I find the TikTok that I might want to use on other platforms. So TikToks are obviously shot vertically, they're short and they're video. So the other places that are really great to share our TikToks is obviously Instagram Reels, that's a no-brainer, but also Pinterest. So if you've heard of idea pins or even video pins, TikToks work really well on Pinterest. The other place they work really well is YouTube Shorts. So if you're not familiar with YouTube Shorts, go on YouTube on your phone and they'll be sitting right up near the top there. And it's very similar to TikTok. It's a vertical feed of video, short videos. You kind of get sucked onto a conveyor belt of content and you kind of flick through all of those videos there. So you create your TikToks and then we can push them out to all those different places. So one way we can do that is using this here, this little tool called Snaptik, snaptik.app. So what we do is we go over to our TikToks, we pick the TikTok we want to share. So it might be this one here. We take that URL in the top there. So we've got that URL and we copy that. We pop it back over and we paste it into here. and then we hit download. And what that's going to do is give us these two servers. So we've got download server 1, download server 2. I don't know what the difference is. I always just hit the top one. But when we click on that, we get some ads, which we can ignore. But we also get down in the bottom, I don't know if you can see that, but it has downloaded my TikTok video as an MP4 format. Now, MP4 is the format that you need to share to, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, that sort of thing. And it doesn't have a watermark on it. So usually if I was to go into my TikTok on my phone and save my video or download my video, it would put a big TikTok logo and it would put my TikTok username across it. Now, Instagram have come out and told us that they will reduce the reach on videos that are watermarked. They didn't say specifically TikTok, but we know they're talking about TikTok. So what we don't want to do is create an amazing TikTok and think, yes, we can share that over to Instagram and then leave the watermark on it. We want to give our content every chance of reaching as many people as possible. So instead, we want to take the watermark off and then we can share it. So I've downloaded that there. I've got that as a video. And so then what I would do is use a tool like Publer. So Publer is my favorite social media scheduling tool. It's free for up to 3 accounts. So I could have, Facebook, LinkedIn and Instagram on there, for example. So I want to share this as an Instagram reel. So I've already set up my account and connected up Instagram. So I would click on that. I would choose Reels. I've got Reels there. I would upload my video, which I have downloaded. So it's sitting in my downloads folder. So I'd click on that and I'd just find the video, this one here. And that's all ready to post as a reel. All I need to do is add in my caption and my hashtags for Instagram. And then I can either, post it out now or I can schedule it to go out later. So I might write in my caption, whatever it is. Oh, you get the idea, caption. I'll put in all my hashtags, whatever they are. I can preview it, what it's going to look like on Instagram. Looks pretty good. Close that and I can then just schedule it or post it out. So I've got my one TikTok that I'm pushing out to Instagram as well. So that's a free way to do it. Takes a little bit of time, but there is another tool which I really love. It's called Repurpose.io. Now, Repurpose is paid. So it's about $15 a month. If you are deciding to really knuckle down on TikTok and you really want to give it a good go, and you really want to increase your online presence and reach as many people as possible, that could be worthwhile. There is a free trial, so I'm just on the free trial at the moment, but it means what I can do is set up these workflows. So I've got a workflow here where my TikTok videos go to Pinterest, where my TikTok videos go to YouTube, and so I can create a new workflow. Really, really simple. Once you've connected up your accounts, of course, it's logged me out because I took too long. Let's go back in there. Cool. So I'm going to call this workflow TikTok to Instagram Reels. Whoops. Next. And Repurpose.io is saying, great, where's your source? So my source is going to be TikTok. Cool. Next. The action is I want to upload the full video and I want to post it to my destination. So my destination is going to be Instagram. And we just need to make sure, it just takes a minute. So we've got the right Instagram account. We obviously, if we've got multiple, we don't want it to go the wrong one. And we want to post it as a reel. And then when we click done, we can either set up an automatic workflow. So every time we post a TikTok, it will automatically get pushed over to Instagram. So that's if we were to tick on the auto there, or we can do it manually. So I prefer manually. So I'll just go into view content and it's going to pull out all of my TikToks. So I've got them sitting here and I can just go, why is it not letting me publish? Is it still downloading? No. Oh, my plan has expired. Please upgrade your account. Okay, so I've come to the end of my free trial, but you can imagine what happens is when you hit publish, make sure your caption and your hashtags are right, and then you can push it over to Instagram. So I'm a big fan of repurposing content, making sure that you're putting in all this effort and you're getting as much reach as you possibly can. So these two tools, so this one again is Snaptik.app. Maybe I can share a link to that with you afterwards in an email. And the other one is repurpose.io. So this one is free, just takes a bit more time. It's a little bit more clunky. This one is paid, and Publer is also free. So Publer is a free social media scheduling tool. At the moment, it's really frustrating. So we can't upload reels from our desktop. So like Business Suite, which you might be used to using for Facebook and Instagram, we can't post or schedule reels through Business Suite. So Publer seems to have, work really well there. So that's just a little tool there. Cool, awesome. So any questions about repurposing there? No? Cool. I honestly thought you guys would have so many questions, and I thought we were going to run out of time today, but it looks like we've got about 20 minutes up our sleeve. So what we could do is have a look at some other content ideas, or if you have any questions, let me know, because I'd love to answer them. No questions? Cool. Why don't we dive back into TikTok and have a look at some other ways that other businesses are using TikTok and how they're sort of promoting their businesses. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen with you. Go back to my phone. That one there. Cool, awesome. So what I'm going to do actually, I recently worked with about 60 businesses here in New Zealand, and we created a challenge where we all created different types of content and use them for promoting our business. So I'm going to dive in and show you some of the cool content that these Kiwi businesses, just like you, they were brand new to TikTok. They had never used the platform before. And this is the type of content they were able to create. Amelia, I just saw some questions popping up. Cool, thanks for joining in, Michelle. Enjoy your afternoon. Can you please show again how you made that speech bubble effect on the video that became the cover? Oh, good question. Okay, so let's dive into one of my drafts. So let's find this one here.
This sort of marketing and business is a little bit like trying to lose weight.
Okay, cool. So we've got our video, we've done all our bits and bobs, we hit next, we go in and write our caption, we think about those search terms that people are looking for, we put in our hashtags, and then we click on select cover. So when we do that, the first thing we can choose is our little boomerang, where it's just going forward and backwards. So that's what it's going to look like on my profile. Now, I don't mind that too much, but you can always slide your finger along. That one looks okay too. Let's go back to the start. I'm happy with that. So then along the bottom, we select the type of text that we want to use. So this is what's going to show up over the top of our TikTok as a cover. So I quite like the last one, which is bubble. So if I click on that, it's going to give me a bubble. I click my finger into, or tap my finger into the middle, and I can put why marketing is like weight loss, ... Done. And then I can obviously move it around. I can make it bigger, pinching it in and out, and put it where I want. You'll notice that when I move it around, I get some gray areas at the top and the bottom. That's just making sure that it's not going to be outside of that, that section that it shows on my profile. So we want to avoid those dark areas there. Now, I might not like that bubble. I might choose this one here instead, or this one. This yellow is really popular at the moment. Lots of people seem to be using that. Another one that's really popular is this one here. So you might see that quite a bit. It's got the sort of TikTok colors in the background, but you're just going to pick, which one works best for you. That one doesn't look very good. Might be that one. We'll just zoom it back in, and then we'll go save. So what it looks like in effect. So I'm just going to get out of here and go back to my profile. And I haven't been hugely consistent with them, but see how I quite often default to that green bubble. And so if you're trying to find a video within my profile, if it's something maybe you want to show a friend and you're like, oh, Jodine did this video, let me go and show it to you, or you want to send it to them, adding that cover image helps them find the content that they're looking for, because some creators literally do post 5 times a day. So when you're trying to find a video they did recently, you could be scrolling right back, and it can be quite hard to find the video that you're referring to. So that's why a cover image is really important. Hopefully that answers your question. The one thing I will mention is when we do post a TikTok, we can't edit it once it's been posted. So even our caption, you know how if you post something to Instagram or Facebook and you can go back and edit any spelling mistakes or any mistakes you've made in the caption, we can't do that on TikTok. So once you've posted something, that's it. You can't change the caption. You can't go and add more hashtags. Even if you put hashtags in the comments, it doesn't work. It's not like Instagram where, you know, if you put the hashtags in the comments, they start to feed through under those tags. It doesn't work. You've got one chance to get it right. And it's always the TikToks that do the best that you realize you've got a stupid mistake in them, which is really frustrating. Cool, awesome. Right, let's go and have a look at my challenges. So it was... So what I did is whenever the TikTok challenge is posted, I asked them to use a particular hashtag. So this can be really good for any campaigns that you're running, or even if you're taking part in a campaign. Using the official hashtag is a great way to curate all of that content together into a single feed. So there's a hashtag that I asked them to use was hashtag Social Smarty Challenge. So when I click on that hashtag, you'll see all of the videos that my challengers, the people who were taking part in the challenge, have posted. Now, in just 4 weeks, we've achieved over 131,000 views. Now, most of these people were starting from zero, no followers, brand new accounts. So that's the kind of reach. And I reckon probably only 10 businesses ended up posting consistently, but that's the kind of reach that we can achieve on TikTok when you don't have to build that following to build up that reach. But let's have a quick look. Like this was a really simple one. So obviously when we've got the audio on, there's that connection. We can see visually, we've got the product in the water, in a natural environment, we've got the sound of the water in the background. So you better believe just by looking at this without reading a single thing, I can assume that those products are natural or made in a natural way or have natural ingredients. We've just completely connected our product with nature. So that's kind of the power there. Let's have a look at another one. There was a really good one. The artists that took part blew my mind. So this one here.
Understood.
I'll just start that one again.
Tell me something that you wish more people understood.
Cool, and what a lovely message. I sincerely enjoy being able to help people celebrate their loved ones. You know, she's had 59 likes on that, comments on that, ton of views. So, you know, really simple, using that audio in an effective way. This one here was an audio that I shared with the team, with the challenges. So this one you guys could do really easily. It's literally just using that audio. And I've got a version of this on my profile, so you can go and find it. Recording a video of yourself, looking down at the camera, slightly moving your phone so it looks like you're sending a message, and then putting some text on the screen. So the text could be something like, you know, reminding my clients that XYZ, or, you know, reminding my customers that we're going to be open this long weekend, or, you know, something like that that's going to make sense to your target audience. So that's a really, really simple one using audio. What else have we got? This one here, again, just a bit of, you know, simple video. So Rachel is a parenting coach who focuses on helping parents with transitioning their kids away from screen time. I hope I'm explaining it as well as she would. And so, yeah, it's just about the message on the screen, really simple in the video and that background there. We had one that kind of went viral here. This one here had close to 50,000 views.
That's so cool. My supplier's just showing me these. I'm just going to have a wee go at them. They are light up koi, and I think they are so cool.
Cool. So this one had so many views and lots of comments, you know, asking how to purchase. She didn't actually have them in stock at that point. but she ended up taking some pre-orders. So, you know, really simple things. People really want to discover not just ideas or education, but they want to discover products too. It's such a big, you know, TikTok made me buy it kind of channel where we can influence people with their purchasing. And I honestly could rattle off 6 things right now that I've purchased that I've seen on TikTok. And I know other people are too, because one of them, when I went in to buy it, it was completely sold out. And I thought that's because of the TikTok video that we've all seen about it. So yeah, it's really, really simple to come up with some cool content there. Righty ho. So let's dive back into here and see if there's some other examples. This one here. So this one here is a good example of using that sort of talking to the camera, but having your little cuts in there.
Secret to selling your offers as a coach very easily. When you are creating the language around how you're going to talk about your program, create 3 marketing messages. One that starts with stop wondering, stop worrying. Another that starts with go from wherever they are now to.
So you can see how she's speaking to camera, but because we've got those cuts in there and we've got a bit of text on the screen, it's much more engaging than just someone sitting at their, you know, camera and just talking directly to the screen. So it's all about holding people's attention. And the key thing there is it's called dwell time. So if someone dwells on your video and they watch a good portion of your video, that tells the algorithm that they are interested in that video. And it really is the most important what would I say, the most important metric for TikTok videos is if you can get people to watch a good portion of your videos, that is going to increase your reach. It's not necessarily about getting likes. It's not necessarily about getting comments, but it's about that dwell time. It's about getting people to watch a good portion of your video, and that's what's going to increase your reach there. Cool. What else have we got saved away? Well, this was another. This one here was another one of my favorite politicians. So this was a little bit of a trend about talking to your younger self. So what you'd say if you could go back in time, or what your younger self would think about you now. So he's basically saying that he was a skater when he was a kid. Imagine going back and telling his 15-year-old self that he was now a politician, but he's getting to create skate parks on government land. Like, it's just the way he's connecting with the younger generation. Let's hope lots of them are out there voting for him. But yeah, I think he's just doing a fantastic job. I have no idea what his policies are. You know, I could completely disagree with everything he stands for, but I really love his TikTok presence.
Why is it so hard to let go of the outcome of play as a parent? Ever find yourself looking at your kids?
So again, Rachel's just using that snappy, cutting, got some text on the screen there, capturing people's attention. This is a good
Expectation versus reality, small business edition. First, show us the product you thought was going to be your best seller versus what turned out to be your actual one. Next, show us the product you thought was a great idea, but in reality turned out to be a bit of a mess. Lastly, show us the product you ordered tons of and can't seem to get rid of, versus the one you never can seem to keep in stock. Expectation versus...
So sound, just listening to sounds on TikTok and getting ideas for how you can use that in your own business, it can really help you with your content creation. Like, how simple is that? You don't even have to show your face. That could be photos of your products, you know, showing the bestseller, showing the one you thought was going to be the bestseller, and just using that audio and relating it to your business.